Hello, Hathorians, and welcome to another episode of Leadership Forum. And today we're joined by Hathor Labs co-founder Jan. Jan, how are you doing?
You? What about you?
I'm very good, actually. Last time I saw you was in Paris a few weeks ago, so it seems like I've seen you in person quite recently. And yeah, Paris was cool. How you been since Paris?
Yeah, it's been very good. Great couple of weeks. Great few
Yeah,
days there in Paris with the event, and since then you've been very busy, right? You've been
yeah,
to
we have.
Tokyo recently,
Yeah,
so
Tokyo is.
yeah.
We've just recovered from the jet lag. To be honest with you, Tokyo is extremely busy, but really good for us, and we look forward to kind of bringing things out from that event, which is called Sushi Tech. So yeah, look, Jan, we're on Leadership Forum, as you know, it's for the leadership team and execs. And yeah, what brings you on Leadership Forum today? I know you have a special announcement to make.
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, as you said, I'm one of the co-founders, so I guess that I'll always be around in a leadership
Definitely
position. But I mean, apart from that, I'd say the big announcement that I want to make today is that I'm returning as CEO of Hathor Labs.
amazing.
So very, very excited about it. As you know, I took basically a year off, kind of a sabbatical, but I wasn't really away. You know, Hathor is it's
Yeah.
kind of like one of my babies, and well, my only baby. I don't have any kids yet, so it's even though I was kind of away in like some sort
Sure,
of sabbatical, I was always very, very much involved, and we'll talk about a few of the other news that I was also working on. So
sure.
yeah, that's the big piece of news. You know, I was able to rest a bit, recharge my energies, and now I'm very excited to be back and get things going again.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, Jan, I must say you look refreshed and it's great news. Actually, we've been working on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't actually, I always say this, but your absence hasn't been felt by myself and some of the team internally because we do speak, like you said, you've always been around and we do speak pretty much daily. So, and I saw you at Paris and we got stuck in. We were talking on loads of different capacities from development capacity to speaking to use cases and company. I could see that you were refreshed and ready to go. So it's amazing to have you back. And yeah, look, your predecessor, Volker was with us for a year. I worked closely with him as well. He was a great addition to the team. He helped form processes and really bring a structure to Hathor. So yeah, like what happens with Volker now and tell us.
Yeah, first of all, I really want to thank Volker a lot because he really stepped up during this time that I was away. Uh, and I just had he managed to create a solid foundation that I'm gonna
Yeah,
build upon and continue working.
absolutely.
Managed to get us some very interesting contacts that we can follow up also. So I mean, Volker did a fantastic job. But we did decide that having one of the co-founders as CEO of the company was the best way forward, and that's why we're making this change again.
Absolutely. And look, as you step back a year ago to keep the flow going, it was a great addition to have Volker just to maintain things while you're away. And it's also great to have you back as being one of the co-founders as well. So awesome. What I'm going to do, Jan, is I'm going to move on to some of the things that you've actually been working on since coming back. I know it's not that you've just come back today. You've been back. You've been around for a while, but these are the things you've been working on as CEO. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is a new integration, and that's the Fireblocks integration. And for those that don't know, Fireblocks is a crypto deliverable. I may not know much about it. The community may not know much about it, but tell us about Fireblocks and what it means to the network.
Yeah, I mean, Fireblocks is like a leader in the crypto space in terms of custody technology. So
Sure.
whenever institutions, big companies, enterprises, they want to custody digital assets, Fireblocks is one of the household names, let's say it.
Yeah.
So they provide technology for custody, for crypto asset custody. And yeah, so we did this integration with them. So now you can use actually the headless wallet, which is the wallet that most use cases use for the integrations. They can use Fireblocks as a backend, let's say. So you have a few options. You can still use like local custody, which is let's say the default mode. We already had Dynamo integration. I think we announced it late last year or early this year, which is also a different kind of custody provider. They
Sure.
have a HSM hardware custody, and now we also have Fireblocks adding to this role of possibilities. So as you said, it's one of the leaders in crypto custody. A lot of exchanges use it, a lot of the let's say regulated funds. So for us, I think it's a very, very important step so we can reach these more robust use cases.
Yeah, look, like you said, um, they're a household name, Fireblocks, and I can't wait to see them slot within our ecosystem. Like they have a really cool logo, and as you mentioned, Dynamo and I believe Parfin as well. We've already had
Yeah.
these type of custody solutions within the network, but like you said, bringing a household name like Fireblocks, is amazing. Especially if it's more use case focused, and custody is a big thing, in the crypto space as well. So having Fireblocks added to our suite is amazing, and we welcome them to the ecosystem. So, so yeah, and since we're on the topic of, and by the way, if we are bringing more content or about Fireblocks or announcements, we'll be sure to bring it out in some sort of blog
Uh,
in the near future.
yeah, actually, I mean the the wallet with the support for Fireblocks, it's been out, I think, late last week or early this week. I'm not
Okay,
sure, so
okay,
it's been out
okay,
already. But
okay,
we'll
okay.
definitely publish some more content on
Yeah, yeah,
about it and again how to use it
sure.
as well.
Yeah, just educational stuff, I guess. So awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to know that it's live and secure, right? Because the custody is a top priority. And since we're on the topic of custody and security, I want to ask you about the ledger integration. Like, I know you've been working on this as well, and you've taken this on as one of your projects as you've come back as CEO. What's the update with the ledger integration? I know we're in developer mode. I think in a previous episode we had briefly touched on the fact that there was some sort of audit in the past. Now, what's happening with the ledger integration, and what can the community expect?
Yeah, I mean, this project it's like close to my heart because the first integration with Ledger, I was the one who did it back in my developer
Amazing.
days.
Nice.
Since then, it's changed a lot. It's much better now.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, as mentioned, we had an audit because it's part of Ledger's process to release the apps out of developer mode, like let's say production mode. Um, they request an audit. Nowadays they have so many requests. They have third party companies that did this audit for them. We already got this completed. The company, this third party already sent them the audit report. Everything's good. No changes needed from our side. App is running smoothly, very secure. Now it's only depends on Ledger, really. I don't know, flipping a switch or, making this, taken out of developer mode. So, from our side, we did everything that, we can. Now it's up to Ledger. I mean, obviously, we are bugging them all the time, let's say,
Yeah,
to get this
sure.
done sooner rather than later. But, I mean, now it's already completed the work on our part. And just make it clear, it's all the features that we already have in the app. You can trade your ECR, your send and receive, even the custom tokens, including
Wow.
NFTs. So yeah, this is all gonna be on the app that's, let's say, officially approved, but it's the same app that we have on dev mode, but now it's gonna be out of dev mode.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, one thing to mention is when it comes to ledger integration, we know like actually the hardest part is the waiting game, and a big part of the waiting game after the developer mode is actually being considered to then go through the integration stage, and that's a long period of time to come out of it, and that's already been done. And then when we talk about things like the audit's been approved, so there's no back and forth there. That takes time as well because you submit, then they say they come back, and then you submit again, but then the back and forth there does take time. So what you've basically said is, they've acknowledged the integration, they've approved the audit, and it's just a flip of the switch. And I think one thing to consider, Jan, as well, that with the market conditions now over the last few months, they're probably getting inundated with like more tokens to be listed and integrated. So these things do take a little bit of time, but it's good to know that we're at the final hurdle there. And especially, it'll be great to have, Hathor on more features within a ledger like Ledger Live and so on, and some of the other ledgers. And actually, I know you saw the new Ledger Stacks. It's like a bigger NFT viewable device. So it will be good in the future if our integration works with that, or we can kind of get that going. It will be cool to see some Hathor punks on there or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
the
I met one of the Ledger guys in Paris Blockchain Week, and he showed me the device. It's quite interesting. I mean, not only for NFTs, it's I mean now that you have like a touch screen, it's
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
the UX is a bit better than the very small screen. I'm used to it. I use it from time to time. I'm used to it, but it's definitely it's I think it's gonna be a bit better, but it's a
yeah.
different I guess it's a different integration, and
Definitely. Yeah, you can never get bored of going back and forth with the numbers, right? But yeah, awesome. So awesome. Yeah, Ledger integration is coming soon. So moving away from security now, let's talk about one of the most common questions that we get on a daily basis, and that's when nano. So Jan, as CEO, I just want to ask you personally, what are you doing, or what's happening with nano contracts? And what are we doing to ensure that we get ready for release when, for example?
yeah, sure. I understand it's one of the things that we've been talking for a while, and obviously it's something that I also want to see released. I'm also very excited about the possibilities it's going to unlock. I mean, generally we cleared, let's say, the major obstacles that we had. I mean, we don't foresee any trouble in development phase in the sense of hitting any obstacles. It's just a matter of getting things ready. So we already had the workshop last year, the end of last year for the beta testers. We've been getting very valuable feedback from them. I mean, especially from the Dozer Protocol guys. Really, I want to publicly thank them because they're really giving us some very, very good feedback, and we've been incorporating what they're telling us. So the next, let's say, public release that we're gonna get the same framework with the upgrades, the enhancements that we made with their feedback, and we're gonna release it publicly. Most of the code is already public, the ones that they've been using. And with this, we're also going to release a guide explaining how to write your nano contracts and how to test them.
Yeah,
You're going to be able to test them locally. You won't be able to, let's say, set up a network and have different full nodes, but locally, you're going to be able to write your own
wow,
nano contract and have it tested, what we call like
yeah,
unit tests. So we make sure that it's
yeah,
behaving correctly. So I
mhm,
mean, with this tab, it's people are already gonna be able to experience the
wow,
power of nano contract. How easy it is written in Python. They can start playing, developing their own nano contracts. So I think that this already is gonna give the broader audience an idea of how powerful nano contracts can be, and so that's the next public phase, let's say, the public release that we're going to have. A very comprehensive guide on how to do it. And then internally, we continue testing stuff. So we're making sure that all components are working well together because, I mean, it's not
yeah,
just the core, the full node that needs to support nano contracts. We're also
mhm,
doing changes on different components, the Explorer, the wallets,
yeah,
like transaction mining service. There are a lot of components
wow.
that
There's a lot.
usually people don't think about, but there are a lot of stuff that we have to change. But things are coming along nicely. For instance, I've seen, I think earlier this week or late last week, a pull request on the mobile wallets
Wow,
repository on GitHub with a screen already for nano contracts on the mobile wallet. So I mean, things are coming
nice.
along. This is the phase we're in. Making sure that all the different pieces are integrating well. And then, once this is done, we're going to be able to launch the public testnet.
Amazing. Yeah. I guess when it comes to where we're at, like this final stage of some internal testing and then releasing the documentation, the guide for the community to then test on a public testnet. And guys, actually, we want everyone or anyone to test. I think even myself personally, I'm going to try and test out nano contracts. And I'm not dev focused. I'm actually a creative. So as you know, I'm not a dev, but I'm going to give it a go, and that's the ethos of nano contracts. We say it often, I say it often, especially when we go to these events and we're speaking to use cases and so on and other devs, they're plug and play Python smart contracts. And actually to talk on the subject of Python as well, actually when speaking to a lot of people when we were in Paris and Japan and letting them know that, Hathor is Python native and nano contracts are plug and play, people are super excited. And actually, one funny thing is you and I were at an Algorand side event in Paris, and they made a very huge announcement, and I was thinking, wow, this is going to be big. what is it going to be? And their a huge announcement was that they're becoming Python focused. So it's quite interesting to see like how Python is, because when you think about onboarding the next set of developers, whether the developers are from Web 2 or they don't have blockchain background, it's important to say the more developers we have in our ecosystem of crypto, the better it will be for us, for other chains, for interoperability. Now, for example, the example I always use is, let's say uh, uh, a supermarket tech team with developers wants to implement blockchain for, I don't know, loyalty points. It would be easy to educate them with Python and Hathor and low code and nano contracts, because it's so easy to code and it's not reinventing the wheel. Like with other intricate languages like Rust or Solidity, the Python's for the many, not the few. So yeah, guys, that's a great update. Thanks a lot, Jan, and we look forward to
Yeah, I mean,
seeing.
in that subject, we always say that we want to remove the obstacles for adoption in blockchain. And,
Yeah,
first, we did like a very easy to use optimization platform. Now, also with our version of smart contracts and our contracts, that's also the idea, So, I mean, not only Python, we're also removing a bit of the complexities when, we
yeah,
want to code a smart contract. So, yeah,
yeah,
that's the idea. It's obviously we also want to onboard blockchain native developers. But for massive adoption, we still have a really huge
mass
market
adoption.
of developers who are not on the blockchain yet, and they certainly could benefit from a easy to use platforms
Sure.
such as Hathor and Nano contracts.
Yeah, actually, to touch on the point you said about the the smart contract issues we have, and smart contracts, they take a lot of time to build and they cost a lot of money as well, and that kind of links to like some of the other coding languages and so on. So, but you hit the nail on the head there. We want to solve that issue and make them like I say this, and I'm not sure if it's the right way of saying it, but I say that nano contracts solve 80%. I don't know why 80% comes to the mind, but 80% of the smart contract needs out there, with these blueprints, and with the blueprints that we release with time and over time and time again, it will become that actually, all you need are these blueprints, man, and that's it. Plug and play and let's go. It doesn't require coding a smart contract for months and years or whatever it may be. These sets of whether they're liquidity pools, lending, betting, whatever it may be, these will solve a lot of the needs in the industry, especially for smart contracts. So yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
And
Uh,
I also really wanted to reinforce your invitation for all developers and even non-developers to try it out and give us feedback. As I said, those are protocol guys. They have been like instrumental. They're helping us a lot, giving us idea. I mean, not only I guess like testing in the sense of finding potential bugs, but also giving us
mhm,
idea of features
yeah,
on how to what we should develop next. And for us, that's
sure.
the best of kind of feedback that we get. So we know there are builders, there are features that are needed for products they're working on. So there are a
Yeah,
few ones that
definitely.
they do. And since I talked about testing, I understand the community is very eager about getting this, but we're just making sure that things are properly tested. The last thing we want is release, let's say, nano contracts, which is I know that people have been waiting for a long time, and it's full of bugs, a lot of problems, usability is
Yeah,
terrible. So,
sure.
we really want to make sure that when we launch it, it's good. I mean, obviously, testing with a larger audience, we'll probably find a few problems. That's natural in the process of developing software and releasing it. But we just don't want to make like, let's say, that's full
Yeah,
of bugs and it can really,
absolutely. Yeah.
hurt our image and people can think, oh, it's a buggy technology or something like that, which obviously it's not. So that's where we're making extra sure before releasing on a public testnet.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And touching on what you were saying earlier, we were talking about Python, we are talking about nano contracts, we're talking about the ecosystem and onboarding new devs and so on. And another thing I want to talk about actually is the EVM bridge. So the
Mm.
EVM bridge, actually, myself, I hear a lot about this EVM bridge because when I'm meeting potential clients and companies, when we go to these events, one of the top questions we ask are, wow, you're scalable, you're fearless, are you EVM compatible? So EVM seems to be a hot topic for most companies, especially use cases, whether they're Web3 or Web2. So yeah, we wanted to get an update from you, Jan, on the EVM bridge, how things are going, and what is the latest update with the EVM bridge?
Yeah, sure. And I think it's gonna be like a nice complement with the with nano contracts coming out, having an EVM
Absolutely.
bridge. We're gonna be able to let's say pour tokens from Ethereum projects, native tokens on Hathor can bridge and go to other chains as well. So I think this is gonna open up a lot of possibilities in terms of projects that can be done on the network. Um,
Mhm.
the major development is done, which is it's been done by a third party company.
Mhm.
So next step is testing. I think actually yesterday, today is Wednesday morning, Brazilian time. Yeah, yesterday afternoon, uh, there was a workshop for the federators. The people who are going to run as like the validators for this bridge. So there's a workshop on how to run it. And
Amazing.
yeah, I guess next step is it's running on a test net to make sure
Wow.
that everything's working well. All the validators as well, they need to let's say learn and practice
Yeah.
the operations that they're gonna have, what to do in each kind of scenario. Again, tests on a larger audience with more transactions, with more moving parts, and that's when things tend to get broken. But this is very
Yeah.
important because we know that bridges are one of the most let's say vulnerable points of attack on networks. We've seen a lot of hacks on bridges,
Definitely.
and definitely it's not something that we want to happen. So we will have to do some thorough testing on a public test net before we can move for the main net. But it's going to be exciting. I'm very excited about having a USD stablecoin and network. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna
Amazing.
complement very well with nano contracts, with some of the DeFi stuff people are already building. So it's really gonna be really wonderful.
Yeah, I honestly agree with you. I can't wait to see more of the degen activity on our chain, like with DeFi and so on. Like you said, having USD backed stablecoin on the network would be amazing. And look, with the EVM compatibility and getting the users and other communities to cross into Hathor and also them benefiting from some of our attributes like scalability and fearlessness, I really think it will open some great doors for our community, but also some of the other communities out there on EVM. And who knows? What other bridges we could make and learn from the EVM bridge in the near future. There are so many great ecosystems out there and chains, and we strongly believe that interoperability is key. We don't want to be. I've heard you say this in previous interviews. We're not Ethereum killers. We're here for everyone. Everyone can benefit and work together. And actually, you can see when you work together and you bridge together, it only becomes beneficial for both parties. So yeah, really looking forward to see what doors can open for us outside of Hathor and with some of the other chains, starting with the EVM compatibility. So yeah, great. We're looking forward to more updates on that. And I guess as you just said, to reiterate, the next stage is we've now done the federators and onboarding there, and I guess the next stage would be a public a test net of some sort in the near future. And when that's live, we'll be sure to communicate it to the community and give them some updates there.
Yeah,
And
and
speaking on the
and
community, yeah,
sorry as well, invite them
yeah,
to also test it. Because I
there
mean,
you go.
having this test from the community is going to be also very very important. So in this case, it's not just developers because it's just from the user's perspective, how to
Sure,
bridge
sure,
tokens back and forth. So I think
absolutely.
everyone in the community can help us test it.
Definitely, guys, you heard it from Jan. Testing for the EVM bridge, testing even for nano contracts when the guide comes out. This is what's going to make things great and more secure and a great experience for us. And it will be fun, I'm not sure on what capacity I could test the EVM bridge, but I'll give it a go, Jan, so
Oh,
yeah,
just move the
awesome.
tokens back and forth and making sure that things
Oh,
work
just,
well. UX testing, making sure that it's not confusing. That
yeah,
as a
yeah, yeah.
user, as a non-tech user, you don't feel, let's say, unsafe. So I think
Awesome.
all of that, all of those are important
Very
areas for
user
feedback.
friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, very user friendly. Just transacting tokens as you would on some other wallets and back and forth and testing the UX and making sure buttons work and that it's user friendly. So I'll definitely be doing that, Jan. So thanks for clearing that up. And since we're talking about community, lastly, Jan, look, we hear everything that the community say. I think in the most recent weeks, I've been dropping in daily to speak to them and so on. And, we've been putting out community satisfaction surveys and so on. And the reason why we do these things is to really hear what they want, get, and we get ideas from them. Like honestly, on some of these surveys, we sit down, we look at the most common requests, and we see how we can benefit and also better ourselves as a team and as a chain in comparison to some of the other chains, because actually the community will always benchmark us against what they see in the space. And it is very important to be relevant and, relevant in the space, especially with the current times. So a lot of the feedback we get in these surveys are extremely good. And we are working on a lot of the things that you guys are requesting. Some of which, we may have announced today, a lot of which there are some great announcements come out in the near future that can't be announced today, but there are some awesome things coming. Jan, did you want to say anything about the community or anything before we
Yeah, I
part
mean,
ways today?
even when I was, let's say, like this last year, that was not, very active. I was still, keeping an eye on the community and reading a few stuff. I mean, obviously cannot be there every day, but we do have amazing community admins. Special thanks to them as well because they are very, very capable. They're out there. They are bringing us the most relevant requests and things that are discussed with the community. So. Yeah, as you said, we are listening. Obviously, a few things that we cannot do, some other things that we're doing, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're here.
Awesome. Yeah, and like I said, you and I have been working quite regularly, even outside the capacity of you being CEO, and that's purely based on the fact of community-related activities and concerns and so on. So, guys, we're listening and we're acting, and you'll see some cool stuff coming out soon. But yeah, for now, Jan, I think that's it really. I think we have discussed some other types of content that we may be doing together in the near future. But other than that. I do invite you at the end of this leadership forum to say, in the next coming weeks, we will get Jan on Telegram for an AMA, and he will drop in now and again just to say hi. And I'm going to commit to getting Jan out of his busy schedule of CEO now to drop a few words and stuff now and again, because we do hear you. We do hear that you guys do want some of the leadership team to drop in now and again, and yeah, we'll be doing that a lot more often, especially now Jan's got busier, he's going to make time to do it, and that's a great thing. So, guys, until the next time, thank you for tuning into this episode of Leadership Farm, and make sure you share this. And any questions, feel free to drop into our Telegram or Discord and talk to any of the admins there or myself. I'm there. My Telegram handle is @nilhdr. But until then, we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, bye.